guess all of you were here. We swore in our new commissioner this morning, appointed and swore in. So we'll go back up to members of the public who wish to speak. Anyone that would like to speak this morning? All right. If not, we'll go to item number 2, which is to approve the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Item number 3 is budget transfers and amendments. Hopefully we have these ads in order by the numbers of the ads.
Right.
Hopefully that's it. Sometimes
Make motion to approve budget transfer to Campbell.
Second.
all in favor, aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Item number 4 is to approve the pay bills. We usually have these ready ahead of time, so if you want to pick them up and look at them before court, and if you have any questions, you can then ask the auditor's office.
Judge Grant, there's a bill in there twice to Winter's Oil, and we got it sent to us twice, but the invoice number was cut off, so that's why the system didn't pick it up. But we need to delete one of them out. It's in Clyde's precinct.
Will you make that motion?
Just about me.
To approve the payroll with that deletion.
Call the bill.
The bills?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be correct.
Right.
I make a motion to pay the bills as long as we delete one of the tickets on the precinct 4 bills page.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Item number 5 is to approve the payroll. I think there are a few more seats if anybody wants to sit down.
Make a motion to approve the payroll. Y'all mind?
Second.
All in favor, aye. Item number 6 is reports. Report from the auditor's office that they have performed an examination of the Eastern County Jail Facility commissary processes for the year ending September 30th, 2021. They made a study and evaluation of the system and internal accounting controls to the extent we consider it necessary solely to determine major timing and scope scope of the audit procedures, and there were no findings or recommendations.
That's correct.
Have a March report for AP3, tax report for March from the tax office, extension service report, treasurer's report on sick pay, vacation, comp, and holiday time, unfunded liability report. Any other reports? Anyone?
Judge Grant, on mine, I did just notice that I didn't change the year, that should be 3/31 of 2022, not 2021. And I'll correct that.
22?
Yes.
This is for that first quarter. Yeah. I just changed that to a 2. You don't need a new report.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any other reports? If not, do we have a motion?
Make a motion to accept the report.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Iron Man is not on. Any discussion on the Iron Man? Did not have one on this time.
I didn't get any calls from fire chiefs.
See any fire repair today? All right, no action. We'll go to item number 8. Any special road use agreements, contracts, or permits? No action? All right. We will go to bonds and education certificates. Have an education certificate from Andy for the County Judges and Commissioners Association, and from Cinnamon, JP3, for their core curriculum. Anyone else? If not, do we have a motion to accept these?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 10 is to consider an agreement of microfilm storage between Avenue Enterprises Solutions and Freestone County for the district clerk. We have discussed this before, and we have our $12.95. All right, any discussion about that? This is the one we've had on there for about 4 or 5 months. She was here, but.
I'm here, I'm here, yeah,
Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions about it? No questions?
I think we were good to approve it, we just were
We
waiting
are.
for
We're
12.95.
just waiting on that. She did a presentation about it before. We have a motion to enter into that agreement. Oh, you can have it then. Would you bring me another agenda, please?
Make a motion to accept the agreement with microfield storage with Avenue Enterprise Solutions District.
Yes, I just didn't have that agenda. Thank you. We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 11 is to discuss the service agreement proposal with Guardian Security Solutions. And we've been talking about that again. Jeannie has talked to Well, just as a little background, we did have a 1-year maintenance agreement that came with the equipment, but that has expired. And so they are, we've talked about this several times too, if you look at that, the agreements, maintenance agreements are very expensive. And we can't just pay when they have to come and fix something. And that would be by the hour. And on that last sheet, you can see what the hourly rates are. I know that from what I've heard from, and if you may want to expound on this a little bit, but that we've not been happy with their service. I know that yours is not working, and they came and never really got it fixed or straightened out.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. In a perfect world, the system when it works is fantastic. Our back door is hard to get a key into, and so that magnetized lock is fantastic. The side door, it's really kind of, we've had trouble with that side door before. It's kind of helped it out. So it's working. It's fantastic, I think. But we've had one time before where it actually like locked and we couldn't get in. We did some maintenance on it, and finally were able to get in. And then here recently, the past 3 weeks or so, it has not worked. And so we've just used our key, so we're able to lock and get in and out. I think Jeannie's been in a long time conversation back and forth with them. I just started calling this week. So I was going to try to call and see what they said to me. I think, Judge, maybe you tried to call yesterday, or maybe and so I'm not sure. I've just got involved here recently, so I want to continue calling and then kind of see where my opinion falls on what to do with this situation.
We talked about continue calling, trying to get them to do something. That tells you what our issue is right now. But Jeannie and I have visited, and Jeannie has talked to Carrie, the fellow that does all of our computer type work, and they keep saying there's an issue with that, which he says that there's not. But anyway, she's talking again, and we are going to see if he will work with us and try to get all of that fixed for us, rather than waiting on them and depending on them, because we do not have very much luck with him. So I would like for us to pursue that a little further and see if we can't go a different avenue to try to get our maintenance done.
Yes, ma'am.
You have something to add to that, Jeannie?
No, that's pretty much, I think, everything that was said. The only other issue we've had with it constantly is that it's off by a few minutes, and when I call them on that, they keep telling me that it's on the world clock or whatever that is, to where like your cell phones and everything automatically set to that clock, and we've compared that to my cell phone and different stuff, and it's the same time, so, but I've had to go in and just like set it 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes ahead so that it'll unlock at the right time on a continual basis.
Rather than them trying to fix it, they just give them an excuse to
Yes,
it.
that's correct.
All right, so that's agreed with everybody. We're going to pursue that avenue and see if we can just do something a little different.
Do they have someone to come?
They
Closer than
did a
Clever?
couple of times when we were still under the maintenance. They did have somebody come, and basically they had to take our server from the courthouse and take it over to the DA's office, plug it in, because they're saying it's on our end and that something's not communicating. And I've had them in contact with Carrie like for 3 weeks there during that time, and there just wasn't no solution. Nobody could figure it out. So.
Are they coming all the way out of Lubbock, or do they have a?
They actually sent them out of Oklahoma. The Jared that comes, he comes from Oklahoma.
So let's pursue that for a little while, and then maybe we'll try to look at some options. Rather than a $15,000 maintenance agreement. Because we weren't happy with them anyway, so. All right, let's go to number 12. Discuss the DEMS3 system for scanning, storing, and retrieving databases.
Good morning.
Good morning. Would you like to come up here? Would that be easier? You don't have to, you're fine. Yeah, I know.
Well, actually, so I'm going to let Michelle do a lot of the talking,
All right.
but I just wanted to say, I'm taking over the voter registration, and a lot of what I've seen is just drowning in paperwork. And so the DMS3 that we're talking about is something that Audra Jackson used when she was the voter registrar. So it's something that we already had in place. We just weren't utilizing the full benefits of it. And so this is Michelle Carew. She's from Vista. She's going to talk a little bit more about it.
All right. Good morning, and thank you for having me here. I am Michelle Carew. I'm the Director of Client Services with Vista Solutions Group. We are a document management company based out of Austin, Texas. Freestone County has been one of our clients since September of 2017. And like Sherry said, it's something that hasn't been used to its fullest potential. So whenever we reached out to Sherry and met Renee, we grouped up online and I showed them what everything DMS3 can do. And DMS3, being that we are out of Austin, we only service government agencies such as counties and city clerks. We also help with like different departments within the county, and our job is to make everyone's life streamline it and easier. So when we started talking, I let them know, and I'll let you guys know too, before working for Vista Solutions, I was an elections administrator here in Texas for 15 years, and I was a client. So I really wouldn't work for a company that I didn't believe in, and I came from a small office just like here in Fairfield. I worked in Aransas County prior to Hurricane Harvey and after Hurricane Harvey, so that's when I really understood the importance of maintaining all of our voter registration documents in a safer location, because just like the tornadoes that happened in Bowie, Texas, anything can happen, whether it be a natural disaster, a fire, or incidents. Anything can happen to where you lose your documents, and it is a requirement in Texas that you maintain all of your voter registration files to date. So our document management system talks to the state system in which the information is held. So our automations that are in place will keep your records and files up to date and accurate according to like name changes and different scenarios that may happen, with your voter. Excuse me. I've had the privilege to show them a lot of our documentations will save you time, and of course time is money, especially in a small county, and they'll save you space. And I know that space is limited for all county offices, especially all the smaller counties, right? So I'm very proud to be able to show you. If you need a demo, I can show you how it works. But in a nutshell, the way that our automations work is the work that they do on the state side will be, that information will be pulled from a report, and that report will sweep into the DMS system and keep everyone's voter records accurate, up to date. And of course, we have our retention schedule. So when it's time for them to get rid of voters who are outside of the 2 years of being canceled, they just do a click of a button and it'll take care of everything for them. So of course, a lot of people used to ask me when I was an elections administrator, what do you do when there's no election? And of course, it's maintaining voter files, preparing for the next election, and making sure everything's up and running. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you.
You said they were using it in the tax office?
Audra used it just the small part of it. She didn't use it fully.
It's a program, is that what we're calling it?
Yes, software system.
Okay.
And I think eventually she just didn't use it and just started doing her own system herself.
Okay, but we didn't have like a subscription to it, or?
Yes, we did. And it was paid, I don't know how much it was,
It was $1,000 a year.
a year, what she
But
used.
that has lapsed, so we don't.
Correct,
have that now.
right.
Okay, I got you.
So, but what we wanted to do was upgrade it to,
There's the DPS sweep.
yes, the sweep and all of that to make it a little bit easier on us to maintain our voter registrar system better.
Another portion of this actual quote includes premium services, and with premium services comes a free audit tool. And now that elections, different counties, Secretary of State said that every election they'd be pulling 4 counties across Texas and auditing the actual election process. And we've included in there a free tool that would allow them to scan their documents in. So when they first brought the audit to light in January, they sent letters to 4 counties in Texas saying, we're going to audit you and you have 11 days to get 160 documents in order. So what we decided, we were like, well, what can we do to help our counties? And we put together a tool that would allow the counties to scan the documents in. So when it's your turn, and you will have your turn because they've been hiring additional auditors and trainers to do the job, you'll be prepared and you won't have to worry about going to your storage unit and pulling out bank boxes or tubs of paperwork and digging through them. It'll be available at the click of a button.
All right, now it says annual subscription, so annually it will cost $4,600.
Yes, ma'am.
But that's after we do the.
We'll do the
bundle,
installation.
which is $8,362.50.
That's half price. So the entire bundle is $16,725. So we reduced it by 50% to the addition. The bundle itself is $8,362.50.
And then each year is $4,600.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're paying what now?
We
Currently,
have been the $1,000 every year.
Oh, I thought you said lapsed.
It did, and then they deducted that off of,
Yeah, it's got a minus on it.
yes.
It's in the third box.
Okay, but that's just, is that just for the first year, the minus 1,000? After the first year, it's 5,600?
it'll be $4,600 a year.
So can I interject something also? I talked to Secretary of State, we get Chapter 19 funds every year. And what I was advised from Secretary of State that they approve a scanning system, a document retrieval system from those funds. So that way we'd be able to use it, I guess, to offset some of the costs.
It's reimbursable through Chapter 19 of the Texas Secretary of State's office.
Yes.
100% reimbursable or?
No, because we only get a certain dollar amount every year. And on the even years, it's gonna be higher. On the odd years, it's gonna be lower.
The amount that we get from the state?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Isn't that about, it's not very much though, is it? The maximum amount that we can.
Not very much at all. I mean, I don't know what we're getting, I mean, I don't.
Well,
never seen anything.
what we're getting in May, I'm sorry, at the end of June is like 4,500. But on an odd year, I've seen it's only like 800.
Sometimes very small amounts.
Yeah, the even years are higher.
And that's based upon the applications that they process during that calendar year. So you know as well as I do, on an even number year, it's very busy with primaries and general elections that happen. So more applications are pushed through the office. That's why the figures are higher on an even number year versus an odd number year.
And how long is this subscription period?
It's 1 year.
Oh, all right, so on number 6, if the project is canceled prior to completion, so anytime during a year, since it's just a 1-year subscription. Okay, so it's not a long term.
Exactly.
Legal contract is just 1 year subscription.
Y'all like it? Wait, motion
Well,
to do it?
she's the one that's gonna be using it mainly, and it's gonna be very, very helpful and time consuming. I mean, she's gonna be able to do stuff faster, a lot faster than what we are doing now by hand.
The main thing, we need the backup is what I think. I mean, elections have got to be right.
If I'm remembering right, we do have enough in the election expenses to do this, don't we now?
I think so. I mean, I can go look, I meant to bring my computer in here, but I can go look real quick. If you want me to.
If not, we could transfer some money, but I do believe we have.
I think so.
We won't
For the
have
remainder
another
of the year, you
election
know, right.
before the end of this budget period, so.
I second Andy's motion.
Any
I
other
have-
discussion?
I have a question. As an election judge, we do statement of residence forms, and Mr. Lane and his wife both got to fill them out again this time. So my question is, will this scan those in so that they are assured of getting in and changed instead of people coming election after election saying, I filled that out last time?
Right, it will. So every document that a voter fills out will go into their virtual folder. And I do know what you're talking about in regards to when a voter comes in and they're like, last election I filled out the same form. Well, unfortunately, that's out of the elections office control because of the fact that they mail something to them and it gets returned back, they automatically get put back on suspense. So, but this should help make things a lot faster and streamline the process. So should Mr. Lane go to vote and he's still on suspense, he has a question, he could walk to their office or call them and they just key in his name and every document he's ever submitted will be right there in front of them.
Okay, great. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor, aye? Any opposed? None, motion carried. Jeremy, I am so sorry, I told you I would do you the first thing after, and I just skipped right over it. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you, Jeremy. Let's do number 19, dock roads.
That's the scanning company that we had, scanning in all our old cases, getting them out of paper form and into a server. A lot like what she said. I should have her speak for me, actually.
I still can.
It's obviously it's time consuming, you know, to do that. We've done it. We've been doing it. We've actually cleared out nearly one whole office up there at the federal building of papers, files that have just been in there. So it's going to free up some space, which, you know, we all know we need some space. But it protects the files and puts them all in the system. We don't have to go looking for anything. We type it in the computer and it'll pop right up for us. So the money that we had with what they were doing prior has run out, so they've stopped. So this is the amount of money to complete the position, all the paperwork for the sheriff's office.
We budget any more money for this at our last budget?
I'm not sure how that worked out.
We budgeted for what was left at the end of the year for that PO, and so we just carried that PO over, or made a new PO, and we used all of it. So there's like $1,000, I think, left on the PO.
So it's saying you got 435,000 more sheets that need to be scanned, is that right?
Well, we have cases, so I don't, however many, yeah, that's what they're considering as far as the paperwork that they got to do, left to do.
Sure, there's probably an estimate.
And we told them we needed something that we didn't have to come back again because it didn't get done like this last time. We needed, and so they said it actually may come in under that. They wanted to make sure that it was enough to cover the rest of the job to do here for our office.
I believe we had already bought a scanner, and didn't we buy a scanner to do documents with? That isn't part of this project, though, 'cause they do their own.
That's still old stuff. We've already started doing it with the new stuff.
This will just clean up the old
That's
stuff.
still
And then
the old
going
stuff.
forward, y'all scan everything yourself.
Right. That's still the old stuff that has never, yeah, hadn't been done yet.
It's almost like a preservation.
We know what happened before when we had all those bottom of the courthouse at the time. But, yeah, it's just, well, at this point, it's necessary for,
I don't know if we could use those preservation funds for that, though.
No, just.
Yes,
to-
yes, just comparing, I thought, yeah.
And again, moving forward, so this would just be a one-time deal, and moving forward, we're doing it in-house.
Right.
and I'm not sure, but I think at one time we discussed, funding. We didn't get it out of funding, did we?
We got it out of COVID. The COVID.
We got it, that's how we paid for the last one without COVID, the COVID funding.
This is an estimate, or is this?
Yes, yes, in all practicality, yes, it's an estimate, but they told us it would not be more than that for what we have. They said it actually may be less, they just wanted to make sure that we had it covered. Because I told them I wanted it.
So it's so much page?
Huh?
It's basically so much page?
Yes.
3 3/4 inches.
Make a motion to do it.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. All right, and then you can talk about an investigator.
Yes. Well, unfortunately, time for catching up with us. I'm in need of another investigator for our CID. They're getting overwhelmed with the amount of cases that keep coming in. While they're trying to handle old stuff, they keep getting new stuff. That's just how it works. Unfortunately, I'm in need of taking somebody off the street to put in there. I'm just looking, the money's already in there from our salary, so it's already in there, so I'm not asking you for money, but we're gonna need to change a position from deputy to sergeant CID, to put them in there, so we have unfortunately three investigators now. But it's needed, it's necessary for my office, and for our complainants and our investigation process, so we got more going on. It's gonna take more to get it done.
You currently have two.
I only have two, yes.
You need one more.
I need one, yes.
So we'll be moving a deputy spot into,
Sergeant CID, yes.
And I know you said you already had the money in there, but that
for
would.
this year.
Yes.
Right, for this year.
Yes.
But that would equate to about $2,400 a year.
And unfortunately, I'm taking from my street, which we also need, but at this time, my CID needs it more. And, and we use Jason McGee out of the DA's office because we are running behind and need to get cases in a little bit quicker. And so we're taking him, sometimes thanks for Brian, he allows us to use him periodically. But we're actually taking him from his office in order to try to keep up with what we got going on. So our office needs to be able to handle our own stuff.
So we'll have to adjust the budget for next year, not this year.
Right. It'll be an extra $2,400 because that's the difference between a deputy and a sergeant.
Like a motion approved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm sorry I forgot to get you in. Thank you.
And regardless if you approved any of that or not, the death of Craig Oaks made me realize that 5 years I've been coming up here, and never have I ever really told any of y'all that we appreciate what you do. And I know budget years, it's hard. And And we go back and forth over a lot of things. But what y'all do is hard. What I do is hard. Any elected official that works here is difficult. But I respect each and every one of you, and I appreciate what you do. I just want y'all to know that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go back. Item number 13, primary runoff election polling places. 2024. Maybe you want to say anything about any of these?
Well, we're pretty much online with everything, as far as that goes. Doug, of course, is taking, Doug and Opal are taking care of pretty much all that, but I just need to get it approved and set in stone.
And the chamber has said they can use them.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. For the rest of the year, as far as we know, Brenda has agreed to let us use it.
So will there be early voting? I haven't had time to look at this.
Yes, yes.
When will early voting be?
May 16th through the 20th.
I'm sorry.
May 16th.
May 16th through the 20th.
And that will be,
On that right column, under the top, Fairfield Conference Center, and then the next section, Kidd City Hall. For 2 weeks.
And basically, every box location is just like it was at the last.
Yes, yes. That's the way Doug and Sanford wanted it, so.
I'll make a motion we approve these locations for the next election.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Consider a line of credit with Tractor Supply.
Some of the commissioners had asked us about that, so.
Maybe one will make a motion again.
yeah, I mean, we had one at one time, and so now that they have a new one in Fairfield, we just thought that we need to get an account there in case we need to buy something. So I'll make a motion that we,
And I think it's something that, one of the things, not for anybody to think that we're not trying to support more locally owned businesses. First time that I needed to get something from Tractor Supply with a fuel tank, drag-up tank, and that's the same thing. Nobody in Fairfield sells them. It didn't at that time, and I think I wound up getting one out of Buffalo. But there's certain items that other stores are not carrying. And so that's just something I wanted to mention that's not, just some things that, we couldn't get before, and now we can, so.
it's the same situation with me, I needed a decent tank and I couldn't get one anywhere else except there. And so that's one that I would like to have that line of credit with Tractor Supply, and I'll make a motion that we do that.
Oh, on this? No, we had a motion,
That was second.
but not a second on the tractor.
That's what, that motion, second, all in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 15, accept the donation of Bill and Sue Allison, $50 in memory of Archie Lane for the senior center. Motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the donation.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Item number 16, presentation from the Core Solar Land Holdings. Number 1, is that a number 1 or an I?
That is me.
That's you? Okay, I thought you were the power person, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, I'm the Core Solar.
Is that an I or a 1?
That's an I, and that would not be the company name, that is just the entity that holds the contracts. I actually have a presentation I wanted to share with you all.
Let's see, a series.
Yeah, and my name is Jordan Tinsley. I'm a project developer for Core Solar. Core Solar develops utility scale solar facilities. and we are looking to bring a project into Freestone County. I actually have a few more.
Let me get one more, please.
And the superintendent in here as well. Thank you. Thank you. There's one extra. Oh, there you go. Thank you.
We need one.
Fortunately, I didn't bring any more. I'm sorry about that. So this is just for informative purposes. Eventually, we will be pursuing a 312 tax abatement as well as a 313, but we just wanted to give an informative presentation about utility scale solar as a whole and our company. So a little bit about Core Solar here on the first page. Core Solar has been around for about 15 years. We started off as an environmental consultant agency. We're privately owned. We're based in Texas. I actually just drove up from Austin, Texas this morning. We have projects all over the U.S., primarily in Texas. We started out in West Texas. As you can see on the map, we have several projects out there. And just a few stats of, developed over 4 gigawatts through the nation. This project in specific, we'll get into more. We're looking to develop a 300 megawatt project. But I will continue moving on to the next page. Talk a little bit about our commitments. So we have minimal ecological impact. We utilize the latest technology to ensure that we're minimizing the amount of space we take up to build our facilities, although they are large. We like to, stay as green as we can, since we are a renewable energy company. So minimizing tree clearing and also following environmental responsibility and compliance. So, we take time with endangered species and all the preliminary searches we do on the land, and a lot of regulatory requirements that we have to follow. So very, very much committed to making and keeping a green environment. We also have a lot of community involvement. We host public meetings, educate the public. We like to even, host field trips to the local schools. I know this will apply completely in TISD, so we host field trips for the ISD if they like it, and it can be educational as the solar industry is doing, and it can be very educational. Moving past our commitments, we have the basics of utility scale solar. So this is just essentially why solar, why now. So the old generation, and I think you'll have some, coal plants and older generation. A lot of these facilities across the United States are going in retirement. You'll see coal plants retiring, gas plants retiring, and utility scale solar has really stepped up. About 7 years ago, the biggest utility scale solar plant was 42 megawatts. Now we're seeing upwards of 1 gigawatt, and as you can see, this one would be around 300 megawatts. So the advancement in technologies allows us to come a long way, and it really makes us a lot more cost efficient, which goes into the technology cost decline. Solar in the past has been relatively very expensive, still is, but as technology gets better, it's becoming more cost effective. As well as consumer demand. We go where there's demand. I believe Freestone County is strategically located on the grid, kind of between Houston and Dallas. There's a big need for energy in this area, and regulatory mandates would be next. So lots of mandates throughout the United States that are requiring going green, and deadlines by 2050 to meet green requirements. Moving over to the next slide, we have a project stages slide. Sorry about that. This is not over this project, but this is kind of just a general briefing of the staging in a project. So you have our pre-construction phase. This is where we get tax abatements, permitting, just making sure the project will make sense, as it's tough to get a project to the finish line. So this would actually be, in our case, we'd be on the lower end of about 3 years on the pre-construction, which we've already started. Construction phase is about 18 to 24 months. This is based off of a 400 megawatt project. I think we'd be on the lower end, hopefully closer to 12 to 18 months on our construction phase. And the operation and maintenance of this facility would be around 25 to over 35 years, and I think our contract would actually be for 40 years. So we would, and it's ultimately, as long as the solar panels can last and we're terminating with new panels,
could last upwards to 40 years. And we're actually looking to insert solar panels into this project that aren't even currently available today. So, planning ahead and trying to get some new panels that will be coming in the years to come. And then as well as decommissioning, we obviously place a bond in place to decommission. This takes about a year or two. It's just dependent on the project size. So over the next two slides, I have some general utility scale questions, and I won't go in depth to this. I leave this to y'all, but just answering a lot of basic questions is how will it look? Are they noisy? No. Do they produce glare? No. What are the panels made of? And how will it affect property values and air quality and wildlife? But this answers a lot of those questions. I don't want to take up too much time, so I won't go in depth to that, but I will open it up at the end if you have any specific questions that I can answer. Moving to the next slide, we're going to go over the project that we're introducing, just a quick overview of it. So we do have site control on this to have project. We have leased some local landowners west of Teague. Glenn Collins is our primary landowner, as well as a trust. So we have about a little bit short of 1,500 acre land position that we have leased in the area. The site is completely cattle land as of now, minimal sloping. The shading will be good because of minimal sloping, and not a whole lot of trees, a little bit, but we don't like to go in areas where we have to bulldoze a bunch of trees down. So it's a really good thing about this site. It's kind of just, it's a hilly area for the most part, and a lot of oil and gas production that we have to avoid. So it's a little hub, but there's not a whole lot of production, and it works good for us. We'll be looking to interconnect into an Encore line. It's a 345 kV line. I have a picture of a line that's 345 kV. This line is Navarro limestone. We've done studies on this line and found it has available capacity for this project. And then just a few development statuses that we have here. We're preparing to submit our interconnection application prior to this meeting. We are planning on our field-based environmental studies in Q3 2022, and we've already completed all of our mineral reports. And unfortunately, yes, we do need to do MORs and do mineral research on solar panels because we will be utilizing the full surface, which covers mineral owners. So have to make them fully aware. And then just a little summary tab that I've gone over a little bit. We're located in ERCOT North, 300 megawatt capacity. We also look to add a battery component to this project, which will add additional capital investment of about $150 million just in batteries. Our commercial delivery date would be Q1 2026. I will note that this is a very conservative date. We hope to be online before then, and we like to be more conservative when handing out dates, just because worst case scenario, Q1 2026, we're hoping we can be online much before that if everything goes smoothly. On the next slide, I actually provided the site location. So as you can see, we're a little bit northwest of Teague off Highway 84. We are entirely in the Teague Independent School District, so this will be a great benefit to that ISD. And then the next slide, I actually have a tax incentive summary. This just kind of talks about the 312 and the 313 tax abatements that we will eventually be seeking to make sure this project can be economically feasible. We have a lot of competitors in this area and all throughout Texas, and all these projects have so far secured a 312 and 313. I don't think any project has been built that hasn't secured a 312 tax abatement agreement to this date. So it's very, very important for us to secure these tax abatements so we can compete on power purchase agreements when we're selling the power, because if they're able to build projects for cheaper, they're able to sell them for cheaper, and you will not be able to secure PPAs. So the first step would be designating a reinvestment zone, which we have a preliminary reinvestment zone that we would like to present to y'all whenever we do submit our applications. And then I won't go too deep into the 312 and 313 tax abatements because I know you are very well versed in that, but we will be seeking it. But I did on the back side, I actually built in a little model that shows undeveloped So the tax revenue that the property is currently bringing in with the ag exemptions, and this is actually for the county and the ISD, and it's broken down at the bottom. And then if we develop our project, the annual income that we would be bringing in on the first year, and then as a total under that. So we'd be bringing in essentially 62.5 million tax dollars by having this project versus 1.8 million as of now. As you can see, when it's broken down at the bottom, TISD is gonna have great benefits from this project occurring, and I think it would greatly impact them. At this time, I'd like to open it up for questions about the solar facility that you're seeing.
How many employees will you have after it's completed?
So we guarantee a minimum of 2 employees for the 313 application but I believe that's due to wages, but I believe we'll have around 12 employees full-time. So not a whole lot of jobs creation there. We will have a lot during the 18 months of construction period, but long-term probably only about 12 jobs.
Who actually owns this company?
So this is owned by our CEO, Greg Nelson. We're privately owned based in Texas. We obviously do balance sheet project finance, so we're financing all of our projects. So we do partner, but we look to be the full-time owners. So solar gets something called an investment tax credit, so we will have tax equity partners in the project, but we will be a long-term owner of this facility.
These partners are all from the United States.
Yes, and it varies from project to project, and I can't really say for certain who our partner will be, but I think we try to be a US-based company.
The panels that y'all use, the solar panels, will they track the sun, or will they just be?
Yes, sir. So these have trackers on them, and we'll actually have a weather station out on the side, and they will track the sun, throughout all the daylight.
Will you also get off the ground or off the grass or whatever on the backside? Can you also?
Yeah, so it does have a backside. Reflection, if it ever snows, you can really benefit from that reflection all the way. And so they found out, snow is actually really good for solar because it reflects off the ground and you're kind of doubling up. But yes.
But you can get some off the backside also?
Yes, if there is reflection. And I just want to add an additional point. Typically, we don't pursue 313 tax abatements this early, and I know this doesn't involve y'all, but will involve the ISD, and we're kind of presenting to y'all ahead of schedule than usual because of the program sunsetting. So we do not believe there will be any projects in Texas in the years to come unless they've secured tax abatements or 313 specifically. Once this program sunsets, it won't be economically feasible for projects to be developed in Texas unless another program comes out. So it is very important that we get this project in. We have a deadline. I mean, really, I think June would be the absolute latest, but we're really hoping, we've heard April and May, we need to get our 313 submitted. So that's our direct rush here.
About what month do you think you would be filling out our deadline for?
I'd like to start the application process for everything this month if possible, and just start getting everything in, negotiating. And I want to also indicate the model on the second to last page where we did include the tax abatements in this. So this is if we receive a 313 and a 312 tax abatement. I think for the 313, 10 years, 80% is what we're presenting here.
That's what's on this?
Yes, ma'am. So this would be, that's obviously the most aggressive tax abatement that started off in West Texas, given out, and that's what we would be hoping to receive. And it's also a $30 million limitation on the 313, value limitation for 10 years.
This money that goes to the school districts, is it able to stay with the schools, or do they have to send it somewhere else to some other schools?
Stay with the school. Stay with the school.
As long as they-
Yeah, so
Get that done.
the 313 allows more money to stay with the schools.
There's a fine line there.
Yes, sir, that's what I'm trying to ask
I
him.
mean, it really doesn't have anything to do with them. It'll depend on what the state wants back. Because it's gonna be a taxable value for us.
I can't speak on that on a high level, but I've heard more money will stay.
I mean, I saw where y'all projected what the schools would get, and so, you know, when you projected it, well, they really gonna be able to get that.
So what's so y'all decided to put the batteries in, so you're looking at like 200 million in panels, 150 in batteries, is that right?
300 million in panels and 150 million in batteries, so it's 450 million capital investment.
And all that's built into the projection that you have here already.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of depreciation over the first 8 years?
So we have standard Texas depreciation of the project. So I think the first year is 8%, and it kind of slopes down from there all the way depreciating to 20%.
That's not statute.
Yes, sir.
Accelerated.
Yes, sir.
So it'll be the same. Any questions? Discussion?
Y'all got the lease, y'all got the surface leases tacked down, but you haven't got the minerals. Where y'all at on that?
Yes, sir. So we have some options to purchase and options to lease in the neighborhood. We have ran MORs and we understand which accommodation agreements we'll have to go after. The mineral story, or what we like to call the mineral story, is not that bad. There's not many accommodation agreements we'll have to
Production's
get.
pretty light on that part of the county.
Yes, sir. So
Production.
there's 3 operators in that area, one of which I think they let their lease expire. The other 2, Texana operating is one, they're a small-time operator. XTO might be the other. But we will have to get agreements with them and as well with all the mineral owners. We have not started getting agreements with the mineral owners yet, but we have ran out the MORs.
You know what you're.
Yes, sir.
I know that's the biggest part.
No, it is. It's really big.
From my experience.
100% of the mineral interests are nice, but it's not.
Didn't take many to follow it up.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for coming today.
Thank y'all for your time.
And you're going to send something to us to review, is that correct?
I will have to get with Dominic on our next steps, but I think we're looking to go ahead and get a reinvestment zone and applications. But I'll be in close contact with you all, and thank you for y'all's time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item number 17 is an agreement for use of reliable disposal equipment. Are we still talking about that one?
That's
All right, no action. Number 18, procurement proposal for electric power supply beginning January 1st, 2023. This is Mr. David Quinn.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners. My name is David Quinn. I just wanted to give you a quick update about where we are with the current procurement. For the record, I am the Program Manager for Public Power Pool. It was set up in 2002 as a 501c4 political subdivision corporation with the intention of negotiating lower electricity rates by buying in bulk and getting better quality contract terms from leveraging the size of the purchasing power of the group in the marketplace. There's a presentation inside that folder on the right-hand side that I'd like to talk to. The group has grown by leaps and bounds. We originally set up 4 counties, and now have over 100 little subdivisions, including 51 Texas counties in the group. A lot of your neighbors are in the group. Visit Falls County this afternoon, McLennan County, Bell County, Williamson County, all the way up to Cherokee County and Smith County in East Texas, all the way up to the Red River and down to the valley. And we've been adding a lot of members of West Texas as well. shows you our savings calculation to date for the group. Since we've been doing this in 2002, we have saved our members over $160 million, and that is comparing the contracted rates that we have negotiated, fixed rate in each of our 8 contracts to date, comparing that rate to the market settling price for electricity every day since 2002. For Freestone County, your savings have been $49,000 against market in the 6 years since you've been a member. The last time that we did a group-wide procurement in 2017, we locked in a rate for the county of 3.4 cents for the current 3-year deal. For this year, it's 3.46 cents. Each year is priced discretely. And we wanted to get a new procurement going because your current contract expires at the end of this year, at the end of 2022. We were out in the marketplace a year and a half ago, which is when I last came to visit, told you about our procurement proposal. We had identified a short list of providers, having sent out an invitation to respond to our RFP to every registered retail electric provider in the state, trying to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to bid on this contract. It leaves the full competition is going to deliver a lower rate. And we had identified a short list that had been approved by the board. We were in the process of negotiating final contracts and had gone through several rounds of indicative pricing with a view to getting an executable pricing that we could book. And then, of course, the winter weather hit. That's February. And essentially what happened is the markets showed a lot of volatility. Pricing went all over the place. And because of so much instability in the marketplace, the board told us, let's put a hold on this. Let's wait for things to stabilize a little bit, and then we'll go back out to the marketplace and see if we can get close to the current contracted rates, keeping the budgets to build. We are there now, so having suspended the procurement process for a year, we are now on the verge of going back out to the marketplace and shopping around the county's load in addition to the 100 other members that we have. And then we'll be looking to move forward with the next suitable price plan before August. The board has given us until the end of August to be able to do this deal. So pricing still shows some instability out there. There's a lot going on. Most recently, the fog of war has made things a lot more complicated. But we do think that going into the springtime, barring any shortfall in production, vis-a-vis increase in demand, but we will reasonably expect the prices will continue to decline from where they are right now, and that we'll be in a good, solid position to be able to procure for the county below our ceiling rate. And if you take a look at that handout, the ceiling rates that we've identified are shown on page 7. With the orange column in the middle. You can see there your current rates identified at the top at 3.46 cents in 2022. We'd like to be able to defend that rate. So we have run a pricing exercise and identified the ceiling rates, which is the very maximum that we will be able to procure at for the county. As you can see, the further out you go, the lower the price gets. So there's an argument to be made for us going out 5 to 7 years, maybe even 10. But we're going to be looking for a consensus opinion from members about what exactly the term length should be. And then we'll be talking to the P3 board, the judges and commissioners, to determine what would be the optimum term length for us to execute on. Now, we've always done better than our ceiling. The only reason why we show you a ceiling is because that is the very maximum that we are approved to act upon. We also show you expected rates on the left-hand column that are significantly lower. That's what we would be aiming for. We'd like to be able to not just lock in a rate that's close to your current rate, but if possible, find additional savings. That is the mission of P3. Now, obviously, not guaranteed to be able to secure any rate right now, but the nature of the program is a risk-averse strategy. We're not going to guarantee the lowest rate at any one time. But we are going to design a procurement process that is designed to minimize your exposure, eliminate risk, and give you budget certainty. Maybe now would be a good time to stop, see if you have any questions.
What is that utility TDSP pass-through?
The TDSP pass-through are the, shown on that column on the fourth row down. Yeah. Those are regulated charges. You're going to pay those regardless of the retailer. They're always going to be the same. Those are regulated by the PUC and by ERCOT. And the legislature, we have no control over those. So those are going to be those are going to be.
It's the same.
They're fixed.
You got it the same. Yeah, okay.
I say they're fixed, but they can change because if the PUC or ERCOT decides that they want to do some rate changes, but we have no control over that. We are just out in the marketplace negotiating new commodity costs. Just to let you know, we're not looking for any action today. If Freestone County wants to be part of this procurement, then no action is necessary. We operate under a lockdown process. If you decide you want to do something different, then we just need to know by April 15th if you choose to take another course and do something different.
We need to read this April 15th.
That's correct.
This month?
We have to have a special meeting.
The process that we've operated under is the same process that we always have done, which is where we give members 60 days, a 60-day window to review these rates and decide whether to continue on. I can tell you from, I've lost count on how many presentations I've made to commissioners, boards, and city councils, various boards over the past 5 weeks. But no D3 members have opted out of the room for this
We're still good until December.
You are still good. The current contract rate is locked in at a fixed rate until the first meter reading of January 2023. So this will be for a new contract beginning in January of next year.
That's if we don't opt out, we'll have to opt out on the 15th.
I understand that.
Are all four of these board of directors, are they're all Democrats?
Judge Jenkins from Dallas is a Democrat, and Commissioner Garcia from Harris County is a Democrat. Commissioner Beatty and Chairman of the Board from Tarrant County, those Republicans. And I cannot speak to the fifth member's political affiliation because she's not honestly
This rate, though, it's not a true figure at the present time. You still won't know.
Exactly. Our procedure is that we want to get a commitment from the existing members so we know what our committed load is. So we take that committed load out to the marketplace. And once that process starts, we're going to go through several rounds of indicative pricing. We're going to be letting members know exactly what the pricing is that we're receiving back from retailers. And then we're going to be seeking a consensus opinion from members about what the ideal terminus should be. And then we would ultimately take that to the board with a recommendation that we go into executable mode. And on the right day, usually midweek, Tuesday or Wednesday, we would go to the retailers and say, send us your executable price. And they'll really cut each other up on the pricing because this is a very, very attractive load for them to bid on. For a large group of this size, without any credit risk.
Gathering your numbers.
that's got a lot to do with like the solar farms that are being put up?
Partially. I mean, we've been looking at that same kind of shape for the pricing curve for several years now, where the near years are more expensive than the out years. So as you can see from that, for pricing curve 2023, 2024, 2025, it was highly priced. After that, it really drops down and levels off. Again, that's why, as it flattens out over time, it makes the option of a longer-term contract very difficult right now. But to answer your question, Commissioner, yes, I mean, a major driver on that is, first of all, continued natural gas production, the fact that we have so much natural gas in reserves, and really no prospect of that diminishing anytime soon. But secondly, there's so many renewables coming online, solar and wind, especially in the past 2 or 3 years. I mean, every time I drive anywhere around here, I see thousands more windmills. The big game changer with that, and part of what is suppressing long-term pricing, is the fact that these renewables are coming on with battery backups. Those guys can store power for 15, even 30 minutes. Then it becomes a lot more valuable and a lot more viable in the market. So that is a factor in suppressing the long-term prices.
Well, I think if we are going to review these, we're probably going to need to have a meeting next week to just discuss if we're going to continue with it. Or, because I know we're just not messing, not having had an opportunity to really study our numbers here.
How long are we under contract with y'all now?
So January of 2023, you've been with us.
January 2023?
Yes. Sir.
Why do we need to renew this so quick now? There's a wait until later on.
Yep. We started the procurement process a year and a half ago initially because we want to be ahead of the game. Wouldn't like to be in a situation where we have to do a deal because we're running out of time. So it's always good to plan ahead. In the past, we've always procured for a new contract at least a year before the end of the existing contract. So we're already late in the sense that we want to move quickly through this year. That said, the board has given us until August this year. So we're not in any especially fast hurry right now.
Well, but you told us just a while ago we had to have it in by April 15th. Are you saying now we can extend that for a period of time?
By April the 15th, we need to know what our committed load is so that we can start talking to the retailers about their pricing. Because they're going to price for a committed load. They need to know exactly what our committed load is so we can get accurate prices back as we go through indicative price manuals. So we ask the members to commit first, and then we'll take that load out to the marketplace and shop it all the way up until August if we need to get the best possible price. It gives us some flexibility.
What I see is he's trying to get his numbers up, so he'll know how many counties are involved.
And what the load of each county is going to be.
Right.
Consumption-wise.
Correct.
And they want it by the 15th to get a head count.
Exactly. We need that information because the retailers need to know exactly what they're going to be priced.
Yeah.
They need to know this.
You got that.
It's a committed.
You know what you're bargaining with.
Correct.
Bargaining power.
I think that we will have a meeting on Monday morning then, at 9 o'clock. And that way we can get information to you time.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. If you have any questions in the meantime, please, my card is in the folder. I'm happy to come back and present as well. I will not be available on Monday, except my committee call in if you need me to. But I am traveling for presentations on Monday as well. But if at any time you need information up until then, please don't hesitate.
All right. I think we'll still look at on Monday. I don't think we need him to come back. I don't have any questions from him. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge, thank you, Commissioners, appreciate the time.
And we will move to 21, which is the plat application for a subdivision.
Where,
Gregor.
come on.
Judge, Commissioners, I'm Marshall Brewer with Ackerman Engineering. I'm here to answer any questions you may have for the plat.
This is Morningstar Ranch, which is on 489. It's 458.74 acres. It's the old painted house country. And it's been presented before. They've dotted every I and T. Public water's gonna service the water. And I was told that y'all were gonna run the water line to the well for each yard. Have you heard that?
I've not heard that.
That's what I heard. But public's gonna furnish water. Bear County's gonna furnish electricity.
Correct.
They've done soil samples. They've, yeah. It's coming. So, we got heavy spots, very flat. And I guess they've done everything to tack on.
But are they notarized, got survey notes and all that attached?
The
We've got the
surveyors.
tax certificate here.
Okay.
We've got the plat application.
He took everything over to the county clerks previously, and they said he had everything.
Okay, all right. Then he's good to go.
Looks like.
Is that y'all tub grinder that's sitting out there?
Yes.
Beth said he's already taken all that over there.
They've been out there clearing the right away, just
Yeah.
clearing the trees out. They haven't done any other work
What
yet.
we didn't
Yeah.
have before was the tax certificate.
How about are you?
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
And we have this, show that he's addressed everything and
They
he's
just
talked
moving
to
each
me
project
about
to
it, so
project.
Yeah.
after they look at it.
I thought it was about my time be going through it first, and then y'all can Andy about it, and he said, no, that's okay, development out there.
Yes.
Okay.
They like to get in and get out quick.
Y'all based out of North
And then
Carolina?
y'all-
Well, they are, yes. I'm out of
All
Texas.
Oh,
Yeah, that's surveyor signature again.
But it's all good. We've got,
I think this is like.
how we 97 copies? We do it, Sean.
Yes.
All of them. 97 copies.
Good, man.
We'll do that after.
There's 3 copies. Go ahead and sign the first page. And you can do that after the meeting if you want, so that I can, y'all can look after the meeting and sign it. That makes more sense.
One copy. That's the cover sheet.
Okay.
I'll get the bottom one and pass them around.
Well, if you'd like, we can go ahead and then we'll sign them after court.
Okay.
That'd be all right?
I'll make a motion to approve the plat application for the subdivision of Morningstar Ranch.
County Star.
2 words.
County Star. All right. We have a motion.
Make a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
Thank you.
Number 22, we were waiting for information back from Grant Works, and we've not gotten that yet, is that correct?
Correct.
And I believe that's all we're waiting on to discuss before we move forward with what we have submitted to them. So we'll have that on Monday. Hopefully, we'll get something by Monday. Any other discussion on that? Anything that anyone would like to? All right, if not, do we have comments from Commissioners Court members?
Make a vote to adjourn.
Hallelujah. Do we have a motion? to
I'll make a
adjourn?
vote to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, aye, adjourn.